I really want to talk. I love listening to you talk about, work and careers. One of the things is that you help people choose a career by helping them design it and make it like this epic journey for themselves rather than that, I guess I'll do this kind of thing, which is a little bit of what you were just talking about. Can you tell me
hmm
like what's the difference between like finding a career or like, being in a career and really designing one that feels like this epic journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, the difference is whether or not it's externally driven or intrinsically driven,
Mhm.
right? So often the way we find our careers is through what other people tell us that we can do, right? We look at outside books, or we watch other people, or other people tell us, oh, you're so good at this, you should do this, or oh, you have a proficiency at that, why don't you try this? So we follow these preset kind of ideas or other people's ideas and proposals of what we should do. And that's kind of how we fall into a career. And I know that personally because I remember my moving into even in my academic career, moving from teaching to academic leadership, I didn't
Mhm.
really want to do that, but I kept being told by my dean, "Oh, you'd be really great at it. You should think about stepping into the next journey." And actually, at the time that I stepped away from it, I was being groomed to like step into a provost position and thinking about my career trajectory in academia. And I'm thinking, I never wanted to do any of this, but I was guided and directed from very well-meaning mentors and very well-meaning friends that looking at my experience and background, that this is where I should go. And so that's what I did. And I think most people find themselves in careers that really weren't necessarily designed by themselves. The
Mhm.
difference when you design a career is that it's all intrinsically driven. It's you getting clear about what you want, how you want to work, what are your value systems, and how do you want those to show up in the things that you do? What's the impact you want to create? Who do you want to impact? How do you want to work? What are the ways you want to work? What are the industries that really feel comfortable for you? Like I said earlier, even being an attorney, I realized, well, I'm not adversarial. Like, why am I in a profession where all you do is fight all day?
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
like there's a disconnect there. But I would have stayed had I listened to other external people saying, "But you're a lawyer, and look how much money you make." It's crazy to walk away from that, right? And that's what happens. And I could have stayed for 20 years miserable
Yeah.
because externally it was validated as the right path and the right choice for me, as opposed to finding something that intrinsically drove me and inspired me and motivated me to
Mhm.
do the things that I want to do and leave the legacy that I want to leave. And so to me,
Mhm.
that's the difference between designing something like epic that you can really live and enjoy your life through as opposed to just following a path. And,
Mhm.
and the thing, I work a lot primarily with women who are in midlife. And the thing that is true is that when women start approaching that midlife, that those 40s, 50s, um, they're not so much forward focused on like what can I accomplish and achieve like we are in our 20s and maybe 30s.
Yeah.
When we start getting into those late 40s and 50s, we're starting to look back and ask ourselves questions like, did I live a good life? Did I do what I wanted to do? Have I accomplished the things that I wanted to accomplish? Am I leaving the legacy that I want to leave? Like those are just from a human development lifespan cycle. Those are the questions that we start to ask ourselves. And
Mhm.
what I want more than anything is for women not to live a life of regret
Yes.
and not to be at a place thinking, I wish, if only, I should have, why didn't I? As opposed to, I did the damn thing. I
Yeah.
did that. I did that thing. I took that risk. I went after what I wanted, even if it shifts and change. And that's a whole nother mythology, is
Yeah.
that there's no one job, there's no one thing or one career. It's really understanding the gifts that you decide to bring to the table in the ways that you decide to bring them at any point in time in your career. And
Mhm.
so we have to let go of this mythology that there's this one path, this one way, and that you have no choice in that direction and in that choice and design.
Yeah, that's definitely an old story. And I did hear that a lot when I was a kid. And I know that it's kind of a myth that's now kind of being it's fizzling out, which is, you find the place, you work there, your loyalty for 40, 50 years, and then, you
Yes.
retire and then that whole story is like We don't live in that world
Yes.
anymore.
No,
Not even
we
a little
don't, and
bit.
we haven't lived in it for a long time, but, like, some women who are old school come from that. It's really hard to shake
Oh
that
yeah.
framework from their mind to say that, "No, you actually don't have to follow that, you can do something different."
Yeah.
And when you're also, usually at midlife, now you have a mortgage, you have
Yeah.
kids' tuitions, and you have aging parents, so you're literally in the middle,
Yeah.
and you're kind of torn between, do I spend time really focusing on me and
Mhm.
prioritizing me? Or do I spend the time on the ones coming after me and taking care of the ones who, brought me forward? And
Yeah.
that's a big dilemma, which is why a lot of times women also just tend to just give in and settle and just ride the wave
Yeah.
because they feel like they don't have permission, or that it's a selfish, guilty pleasure to
Hmm.
focus on themselves and what they want, which is
Yeah.
again such a myth and such a horrible tragedy to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially to women who deserve to follow these really great big dreams and innovations that they have in their head. And it's really, I really appreciate you bringing this up, because this is actually something, this exact topic, the not wanting women to look back on their lives with regret because they didn't get themselves into the places that they wanted to be in the years that are now behind them. I literally started crying when I was recording this part of my last podcast episode about overpowering your insecurities, because I just was like,
Mm,
one thing as a confidence coach, when I work with other women and they start talking about, I feel like I wasted time, and I feel like I just didn't do it when I was supposed to do it, and so, or it should have been done 10 years ago and it's too late. And I'm like, you're 35. What do you mean it's
yes.
too late? Like, it's
Yes.
not too late. But then,
Yes.
you are echoing what that sounds like for them if they don't make the changes that are already tapping on them right now. We all still have time, as long as we still have feet on the planet, as long as we're still, here in our vessel, and we have the tapping in our heart and the tapping that's in our heads that's saying, do this, follow this. There's something there that's going to excite you or bring you joy or fulfill you in some way. As long as you have that, there's always time. And the only thing that has to shift and change is your mentality around it and the emotions that you put into whether or not you follow it or you keep denying it.
That is so true.